These are stunning opening traps in chess, and you can win 80% of your games in these lines if your opponent is not prepared with it. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this first trap, which starts with the Ponziani. When we play this knight coming here protecting the pawn, we have seen this line a million times. Now without going for the bishop move which goes for the Italian, we play this c3, and this is the Ponziani opening. You invite this knight to come here attack your pawn, but we don't care, and this is the JAENSCH counter attack of the Ponziani opening. So now you invite this knight to capture here, and we don't need to capture the pawn, and we can just advance this, and the fun starts now. This knight is under attack, you just want to move it. I will show you the best move also. Here the best move is to play the bishop move, and now you attack the f2 pawn. So we capture here the free piece, but you are going to stuck in the center of the board, and you will see. So after the king moves, you want to move this bishop back. Now this knight is going to fork here and here. So we want to play the queen move, attacks this knight, and once you play the knight move, attacks the rook, we can just save it, and best move here for black is to just castle and don't worry about this knight. So we can play a very cunning move with the bishop. Now you would see this queen is under attack, and you can never push this pawn because the pawn is pinned. So there are two continuation, whether you can play this queen here or you can just take the pawn. So if you just continue with taking the pawn, we can take this, and once you take this, using the fact that the knight is here, we can just capture this pawn, and now forces this bishop to move, and we can capture here, but still you have this check, and once we move the king on even square, you can capture this bishop. With this bishop, the rook, and now you are simply up two knights against the rook, but this is completely in favor of black because black is playing actual best moves. But still you can fight back if your opponent is not falling into the trap. So this is not the trap, this is the best move. I will show you the trap now. After this, if you are not interested in developing this bishop and you place this knight back, then this is also a good move, not the blunder. And in the next move, you should play this knight here. After I capture the pawn in the center, you should play this knight on this g6 square, and this is completely fine. But if your opponent plays the blunder of this game and pushes the pawn, says okay, now I am attacking this knight, what is your deal? But we have this wonderful move with the bishop check, and if we continue the game with this wonderful fashion, after you capture, we can capture with the knight, and you can never capture with the knight because it comes with a threat with the bishop forking this knight and the king. And once you develop this, I can capture the free piece, and this will not help. You can never pin this because I can play the queen move, and that's it. This is hanging, and you don't have this pawn push. So this is completely winning for white. I will show you another line after this. So the best move here is to not capture this knight obviously, and you play the queen move, attacks this, attacks this. So we don't want to capture anything. If you really capture here, you are losing this. So the best move here is to go back with the knight, protect the bishop, and you have to play the bishop move or you play the king move. You are going to stay in the center of the board. Let's see, after you go here and here, and we can just castle in the next move, and you are completely busted. King will remain in the center of the board, and you are likely to win easily this game. So let's see about the real trap. Fun starts when you capture this free knight, and once you capture, you're completely lost. And we can play this pawn captures, delivers a check, and once we block with the bishop, we can capture with the queen, and this is the absolute best move. And once you capture with the queen, we are not going to capture this queen which is pinned with the bishop. We can just take the rook with the check and the queen is appearing on the board. You don't have a good move because queen is pinned with here. So you want to play this knight move, but using the fact that the queen is still pinned, we can just capture it, and this would be really logical. Once you move the king, we can capture here, and this is completely lost position for black, and we can easily win this game from this JAENSCH counter-attack Ponziani opening. So now let's talk about the other trap, which is also outstanding. We have to go with d4 line. You would have seen this d4 line many times. Now we have d5, and now we are offering the pawn. You want to capture it here, and we develop the knight, attacks this knight. So the very reasonable way here is to develop the knight and we attack this pawn. And surprisingly, more than 30,000 players have already fallen into this trap if I talk about the lichess database. So many strong players are falling into these traps, so there is a way to go. We just push the pawn, and now you are attacking this pawn. So you want to get rid of this isolated pawn and you capture here. And this is the absolute best move. We don't need to capture with the knight, which looks very reasonable, protect the pawn, but we play the queen capture, which is really wonderful. And you invite this queen to come with a capture. And now we can play the bishop move. Here there are three moves possible. You can play this queen here, you can play this queen here, delivering a check, and you can play this queen here. The fun starts when this queen is coming on b4 square, attacks this pawn, and this comes with a very wonderful trick. But these two are the best moves. Once you exchange the queen, we cannot exchange the queen. Obviously you can just castle, you are ahead in development, and this would be slightly better for black because black is up 2 pawns, and this would be completely crushing for black, but still you can equalize the game. But the fun starts when you play this queen here attacking the b2 pawn, but we can just castle. But this comes with a trick. You are inviting this bishop to pin your queen and you are giving up the rook. But is this really working? After you play the bishop move, we don't need to capture this pawn obviously, and we have this stunning move with the knight, and you are sacrificing the queen. Obviously this is not a sacrifice. If you really accept, then you are just getting checkmated and there is no escaping. This is the natural way of giving the checkmate with the rook and the knight, and this is well known to many of the players. So you would definitely see it, and now you want to play the knight move, obviously protecting this c7 square, but we now capture this pawn attacking this, attacking this. So you want to save the rook, and queen e4 seems the very reasonable move. You want to play this queen here, offer the queen trade, and that would be good. And after this move, if you really want to continue this game, queen takes, we need to just capture the queen. And if you take another like this, you can capture here, but still this is good. You can first capture this with a check, and the game is fairly equal, and you should proceed with this fashion. But if you don't play this move and place the other move, like after this capture you want to save the rook, you are hoping for this capture in the next move, but you will just lose the game. Now the queen captures is really stunning. We are just keeping an eye on this, and if you really capture the free rook, obviously this is not free and you are getting checkmated. So this is not the way to go, and after this you are completely lost and you want to play the pawn push. Let's see, we can also push the pawn, attack the queen, and once the queen move on this very square available, we can play the bishop move, and still we are not worried about this bishop capture this rook because you are threatening some queen capture here, and we can also win the bishop in the next move. So how was the video? I will be waiting for your comment, and if you want to enjoy these videos for free on Facebook, then you are most welcome to subscribe this page as premium membership. gives you access to the exclusive content and the study which I create every time I make a trap on any of the openings. You are going to study it in the lichess and you will have the access of it. So I will see you soon in my next video. But thanks to my supporters who are just enjoying the premium membership on the Facebook page, and it really motivates me to create new videos.